Welcome back. Rare USA Coin. Stop strolling today. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins and exploring the top 5 most valuable coins on the market today, focusing on Susan B. Anthony coins, Pfennig cents, and Kennedy half dollars. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you won't want to miss this. So let's get started. First up, we have a very interesting piece, $1 coin with the P mint mark. Many collectors and hobbyists alike are curious. What is it worth today, especially if it's in very fine or uncirculated condition? You might be surprised by the answer. Before we get into its value, let's talk a little background on this coin. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first issued the pioneering suffragist and women's rights activist Susan B. Anthony. It was designed to be the first circulating U.S. dollar coin featuring a real woman, which made it historically significant from the start. Collectors and experts have been hunting for these cents for over a decade. And the rarest examples? They've fetched prices in the millions, simply because of their scarcity and historical significance. Coin number 1. Don't blink and stop strolling. The 1988 French 20-cent coin from the Republic of France. Let's start with the front side of the coin. In the center you can see the value of the coin, 20 centimes, with the year 1988 written at the bottom. Around the design you'll notice a wheat ear and an olive branch, which are symbols of prosperity and peace. You can also see the famous French motto, liberty, equality, fraternity, which represents the values of the French Republic. Now let's flip the coin over to the reverse side. Here we see Marianne, the national symbol of France, facing to the left. Around the outer edge of the coin you'll find the words République Française, which simply means Republic of France. Now let's talk about the mintage and value of this coin. Back in 1988, approximately 223 million of these coins were produced for circulation. That is a very large number, which means the coin is quite common. However, if you happen to have this coin in excellent or uncirculated condition, it can still sell for around £2 to £2.50 among collectors. But if the coin is heavily worn, which most of them are, its value usually stays between 15 to 20 pence. One more interesting detail. On both sides of the year 1988, you'll notice 2 small dolphin mint marks. These tiny marks help identify the minting details of the coin. If you have any coins you'd like me to evaluate, feel free to comment below, and I'll help you determine their value. And if you have any other questions about coins, let me know as well. The 1988 French 20 centimes coin may seem like just a small golden piece of metal, but hidden within it is a fascinating chapter of France's cultural and economic journey. This coin was minted during a time when France was embracing modernization while still holding tightly to its traditional symbols of liberty, pride, and national identity. It represents a period when the French franc was still the official currency. Long before the arrival of the euro, on one side of the coin, you'll find the elegant profile of Marianne, the timeless personification of the French Republic. She is shown wearing the famous Phrygian cap, a powerful symbol of freedom that dates all the way back to the days of the French Revolution. The design was created by the talented sculptor Henri Lagreffoul. Marianne isn't just a decorative figure on a coin. She represents freedom, reason, and the spirit of the French people who believe in independence and equality. Just imagine how many stories this small coin could tell. It may have traveled from the cafes of Paris to the quiet villages of Provence, passing through thousands of hands along the way. Every exchange, every purchase, every journey added another chapter to its history. Could your 1988 coin have been part of that journey? Stay with me, because this coin holds more surprises than you might expect. Now let's look at the reverse side of the coin. Here we see the famous French national motto, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, which translates to liberty, equality, and brotherhood. These powerful words surround the large number 20 and the word centimes, representing the coin's value. Encircling the design are 2 wheat branches. These branches symbolize growth, prosperity, and the hard-working nature of the French people. At the bottom, you'll see the year 1988, marking the time when France's franc currency was still strong and widely used. Coins like this were once part of everyday life, used in markets, bakeries, and shops all across the country. But today, this coin represents something even more meaningful. The 1988 French 20 centimes coin comes from the final decades of the franc era, before France eventually transitioned to the euro in the early 2000s. This makes the coin a small but powerful reminder of a remarkable chapter in France's monetary history. Even though these coins are no longer used in daily transactions, they continue to live on in the collections of coin enthusiasts and history lovers around the world. Every detail, from Marianne's calm and confident gaze to the delicate wheat branches, reminds us that even ordinary coins can carry extraordinary stories. So the next time you find one of these coins, don't just see it as old money. Think of it as a small piece of a nation's identity, preserved in metal. Who knows? Your coin might have traveled through decades, crossed borders, or even become part of someone's treasured collection. What do you think? Could your 1988 French 20 centimes coin have a hidden story waiting to be discovered? If you have one, or if you'd like to know its real value. Coin number 2, don't blink today. I have a 1978 Hong Kong 50-cent coin, and in this video we'll take a look at its history, specifications, and collector value. So let's get started. First, let's look at the obverse of the coin. Here we see the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the famous sculptor Arnold Machin. This portrait shows the Queen facing to the right and was widely used on many Commonwealth coins during that period. Now, if we flip the coin over to the reverse side, we can see a very interesting design featuring Chinese characters in the center. Just below that is the year 1978, which tells us when the coin was minted. Above the design, we see the territory name Hong Kong written in English. Along the vertical axis of the coin, the same name also appears in Chinese characters. The denomination of the coin is 50 cents, which is shown in Chinese on the horizontal axis as 5 jiao. In traditional Chinese currency terms, 1 jiao equals 10 cents. So 5 jiao is equal to 50 cents, which matches the value shown on the coin. Now let's talk about the physical details of this coin. The 1978 Hong Kong 50-cent coin is made from nickel brass. It weighs 4.9 grams, has a diameter of 22.5 millimeters, and a thickness of about 1.7 millimeters. The coin also has a reeded edge, which you can see around the outer rim. Another interesting detail is the alignment of the coin. This coin uses metal alignment, which means if you rotate it vertically, both sides remain right side up. As for the mintage, around 60.64 million coins were produced in 1978. While this is slightly lower than some other years, it still means the coin is fairly common among collectors. These coins were produced between 1978 and 1980 with this particular portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Later, the portrait design changed in 1978, marking a new era for Hong Kong coinage. Because of the relatively high mintage, the value of this coin is usually modest. In circulated condition, it is often worth around its face value or slightly more. However, an uncirculated example in excellent condition may sell for a few dollars in coin shops or collector markets. Even though it may not be extremely rare, this coin is still an interesting piece of history from a time when Hong Kong was under British administration. I hope this helped you learn a little more about the 1978 Hong Kong 50-cent coin. I'll see you next time with another interesting coin to explore. This coin is not just a simple piece of metal. It represents a small but meaningful part of history and can also be a valuable addition to any coin collection. Today, we're going to explore the 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent coin, looking at its design, history, and collector value. Let's start with the coin itself. The 1978 Hong Kong 20-cent coin is a beautifully designed piece of currency. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This portrait appeared on many coins issued by territories that were once part of the British Empire. The design shows a youthful image of the Queen, representing the long historical connection between Hong Kong and the British Crown. If we turn the coin over to the reverse side, we see the denomination clearly displayed along with the year 1978. Surrounding the design are elegant Chinese characters that reflect the cultural identity of Hong Kong. The combination of English and Chinese inscriptions highlights the unique blend of Eastern and Western influences that shaped the region during that period. To truly appreciate this coin, we also need to understand its historical background. In 1978, Hong Kong was under British administration and was one of Asia's most vibrant financial and trading centers. The city was rapidly developing into a global hub for commerce, industry, and international trade. Coins like this 50-cent piece circulated daily in markets, shops, and businesses, playing a small but important role in the economic life of the territory. For collectors, coins like this are more than just currency. They are small historical artifacts that capture the spirit of a particular time and place. Now let's talk about the coin's condition. The example we're discussing today is considered to be in very fine condition. In numismatic terms, very fine means the coin has been circulated but still retains clear details. Most of the design elements remain visible, with only moderate signs of wear from everyday use. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining the value of a coin. As for market value, a 1978 Hong Kong 50-cent coin in very fine condition typically sells for a few dollars among collectors. If the coin is in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, it may be worth slightly more. However, because millions of these coins were produced, they are generally considered common in the collector market. Even though the monetary value may not be extremely high, the historical value of this coin is what truly makes it special. For many collectors, owning a 1978 Hong Kong 50-cent coin means holding a tangible piece of Hong Kong's colonial past. It reflects a period when the city was growing into one of the world's most important economic centers. And that's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Every coin carries a story about the people, the culture, and the time in which it was created. Next time, we'll continue exploring Hong Kong coin history by taking a closer look at the 1978 Hong Kong 50-cent coin, examining its design, historical background, and collector value. Stay tuned for more coin discoveries. Count number 3 Thailand 2 Baht coin. Most people dream about finding treasure, a hidden chest of gold, a lucky lottery ticket, or some forgotten fortune waiting to be discovered. But for me, the story was much smaller. It was just a coin that looked completely ordinary, until it changed someone's life forever. Before I tell you what coin it was, I want you to pause for a moment. Take a look around your home, your car, or even that old wallet you haven't opened in years. Because the truth is, you might already be sitting on a hidden treasure without even realizing it. And no, this isn't clickbait. I'm saying this as someone who has spent more than a decade studying rare coins, running a small coin shop in the United States, and working with collectors who have spent millions of dollars searching for pieces that most people throw away as spare change. Over the years, I've seen stories that sound impossible, but every single one of them turn out to be true. So before you spend the next coin in your pocket, listen carefully, because the next few minutes might be the most valuable minutes of your life. This story began when a regular customer walked into my shop one quiet afternoon. He looked a little confused and was holding a handful of old coins he had found inside a small box that once belonged to his grandfather. Most of the coins were common, nothing special, but there was one coin, slightly faded and worn, that immediately caught my attention. At first, I couldn't explain why. Something about it just looked different. It had a unique shine, an older texture, and the edges looked slightly unusual compared to other coins I had seen. So I picked it up and examined it more closely. And that's when I realized something important. This wasn't just a random coin from a tourist trip or a forgotten pocket. It was something far rarer, something that shouldn't even exist in everyday circulation anymore. Before I told the customer what I had discovered, I wanted to make something clear. Most people have no idea how valuable some coins can actually be. Some rare coins are worth a few $100s. Others are worth thousands. And a very small number are worth life-changing amounts of money, hundreds of thousands, or even millions. Collectors and museums are willing to pay enormous sums for these pieces of history. Because to them, coins aren't just money. They are art. They are history. They are physical pieces of time, frozen forever in metal. So I decided to run a few tests. First, I used a metal scanner to check the composition. Then I compared the strike pattern with known examples. Finally, I examined the surface under a digital microscope. And what I found shocked me. The metal composition wasn't the usual copper or nickel used for that coin. Instead, it contained traces of a rare experimental alloy, something that was never supposed to be used in regular circulation. That's when I realized what I was holding. It was one of the rarest experimental coins ever produced. At first glance, the coin looked simple. A silver-gray tone, moderate wear, and a faint emblem at the center. But when you look closely, the details tell a completely different story. The slightly off-center strike, the unusual edge pattern, and the extremely rare mint year. All of these clues pointed to one thing. This coin wasn't just rare. It was extraordinary. I immediately contacted several collectors in Europe and the United States. Within just a few hours, offers started pouring in. $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, then $100,000. But the real shock came later. A serious collector who had been searching for this exact coin for years made an incredible offer. And suddenly, the bidding exploded. Within days, the price had climbed to millions of dollars. Think about that for a moment. A single coin, smaller than a bottle cap, worth more than what most people earn in an entire lifetime. So what makes a coin like this so valuable? The answer is simple. Coins are more than money. They tell the story of civilizations, of politics, economies, cultures, and historical moments. And sometimes, hidden among billions of ordinary coins, there are a few extraordinary ones waiting to be discovered. Maybe in an old box, maybe in a forgotten drawer, or maybe right now in your pocket. Coin number 4. So be carefully, the 1950 10 Pfennig coin was part of the new currency system known as the Deutsche Mark, which helped stabilize the German economy during the early years of recovery. One interesting detail about this coin is its mint mark. The letter J indicates that the coin was produced at the mint in Hamburg. Mint marks help collectors identify where a coin was produced and can sometimes affect its rarity and collectability. During the 1950s, the 10 Pfennig coin circulated widely throughout West Germany and played an important role in everyday transactions. On the coin's design, you'll notice a beautiful oak leaf motif, symbolizing strength, growth, and the rebirth of the nation after difficult times. For collectors, coins like this represent more than just money. They are historical artifacts that capture the spirit of a nation rebuilding itself. Now let's talk about rarity and value. Although the 1950 J mint mark 10 Pfennig is historically interesting, it was produced in large quantities, with hundreds of millions minted. Because of this, the coin is generally considered common among collectors. In circulated condition, the coin is typically worth around a few cents to about 50 cents. If you have a nice uncirculated example, collectors may pay around $1 to $3, depending on its condition and preservation. While it's always exciting to imagine discovering a coin worth millions, coins like this are valued more for their historical significance than for extreme rarity. Still, for collectors and history enthusiasts, the 1950 J mint mark 10 Pfennig coin remains a fascinating piece of post-war history. It reminds us of a time when Germany was rebuilding its economy and moving toward a new future. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, coins like this hold a special place in collections around the world. Issued during the early years of West Germany, the 1950 German 10 Pfennig coin represents an important period in German history. After the devastation of World War II, Germany faced massive economic challenges. To rebuild the economy and restore stability, the country introduced a new currency known as the Deutsche Mark. The 10 Pfennig coin was part of this new monetary system and quickly became a common coin used in everyday transactions. For many people, it symbolized a new beginning and the economic recovery of post-war Germany. Now let's talk about the coin's value. The value of any coin depends on several factors, including rarity, condition, mint mark, and collector demand. While the 1950 10 Pfennig coin carries historical significance, it was produced in very large quantities by several German mints. Because of this, most circulated examples are relatively common. In circulated condition, the coin is usually worth around 10 cents to 50 cents. In uncirculated condition, collectors may pay around $1 to $3, depending on the quality and mint mark. However, certain rare mint errors or exceptionally high-grade coins could sell for higher prices among specialized collectors. Now let's briefly talk about another example, the 1950 German 10 Pfennig coin. This coin was minted during the later years of the Deutsche Mark era, long before Germany adopted the euro. The 10 Pfennig remained a common denomination used across Germany for decades. In terms of rarity, the 1950 issue was also produced in large numbers. Because of this, most examples remain relatively common today. A circulated 1950 10 Pfennig coin is usually worth only a few cents. An uncirculated example might sell for $1 to $2, depending on its condition. For collectors, the value of these coins is not only about money. They are small historical artifacts that reflect Germany's recovery, growth, and eventual transition to the euro. Owning coins like the 1950 or 1971 10 Pfennig means holding a small piece of European history, a reminder of the era when the Deutsche Mark helped rebuild and strengthen Germany's economy. And that's what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Even the smallest coins can carry powerful stories from the past. The history of the 1950 German 10 Pfennig coin. This coin holds historical importance because it was issued shortly after the rebuilding of Germany following the devastation of World War II. It became part of the new currency system known as the Deutsche Mark, introduced in the newly formed Federal Republic of Germany. Coins like the 10 Pfennig symbolized the beginning of Germany's economic recovery during the early post-war years. Now let's move on to the exciting part, the coin's value. The value of any coin depends on several important factors, including its rarity, condition, mint mark, and historical significance. For today's focus, we're looking at the 1950 10 Pfennig coin in good circulated condition. Because millions of these coins were produced across several mints, they are generally considered common coins among collectors. In good circulated condition, the coin is usually worth around 10 cents to 50 cents. If the coin is in very nice, uncirculated condition, collectors may pay $1 to $3, depending on its preservation and mint mark. However, special varieties, such as rare mint errors or exceptional high-grade examples, could be worth more to specialized collectors. For anyone trying to determine the value of their 1950 10 Pfennig, it's important to examine details such as surface wear, luster, sharpness of the design, and possible minting errors. Consulting experienced coin dealers or professional grading services can also help provide a more accurate valuation. In conclusion, while the 1950 German 10 Pfennig coin may not be extremely rare, it remains an interesting historical piece from the early days of post-war Germany. For collectors, coins like this represent a small but meaningful part of history. To learn more about rare and historical coins, don't forget to like for more coin discoveries. Coin number 5 is last coin, the 1977 Germany 10 Pfennig with the G mint mark. These coins were part of a long-running series designed by Friedrich Wilhelm Kollrich, featuring oak leaves and acorns symbolizing strength and growth. The G mint mark shows it was minted in Karlsruhe, one of Germany's key mint facilities at the time. So what's its value? In circulated condition, the 1977 G10 Pfennig usually sells for only 10 cents to 50 cents, while an uncirculated example might fetch $1 to $2. While these coins are not rare, they carry significant historical and cultural value, making them prized pieces for collectors interested in the era of the Deutsche Mark. Finally, let's move on to the 1977 German 10 Pfennig coin, minted in Hamburg, another fascinating piece of Germany's numismatic history. Like the others, its value is modest, but the coin tells the story of Germany's everyday life and economy during the late 20th century. German 10 Pfennig coins from 1976 to 1977, with mint marks, designs, history, and realistic collector values. This coin is a fascinating piece of history, and its value in the collector market depends heavily on condition. In numismatic terms, fine condition means the coin has seen some circulation but still retains its main features. Inscriptions are readable, images are distinct, and wear is minimal. Even in fine condition, coins like the Germany 10 Pfennig 1977 with a J mint mark remain a charming reminder of Germany's post-war era. The 1977 J mint mark indicates it was minted in Hamburg, a historically significant mint. While these coins are historically interesting, they were produced in large numbers. Most 1977 J coins in fine condition are worth only a few dollars in today's market, perhaps around $1 to $3 for collectors. The real value lies in the history and craftsmanship rather than any astronomical monetary figure. The 1977 German 10 Pfennig coin features the iconic German eagle on the obverse, a symbol of strength and sovereignty. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays the denomination 10 Pfennig and the year 1977. Talk about its value. While some might see it as just spare change, collectors know that coins like this carry historical significance. The 1977 10 Pfennig is a common coin, and most circulated examples are worth only a few cents. If you happen to have an uncirculated coin in excellent condition, it might sell for $1 to $3, depending on the mint mark and preservation. The real value of this coin is not in its price, but in what it represents, a piece of post-war German history and everyday life during the era of the Deutsche Mark, before the adoption of the euro. Next, let's move on to the 1977 German 10 Pfennig coin, another interesting piece of history. Like the 1977 coin, it carries the distinctive design of the German eagle, the denomination, and the mint mark, connecting collectors to Germany's rich numismatic past. Even though these coins are common, they are small, tangible reminders of Germany's economic and cultural history, making them meaningful additions to any collection. All German 10 Pfennig coins from 1950 to 1977, with mint marks, historical context, and realistic collector values.